so many good things going on around here. Of course, our soccer team, volleyball team. It's just kind of exciting to watch them dominate and play ball. Big win for our football team this past week. Whenever I'm always pumped up about any win. When you start the football season off, you never know for sure what you have, and that first half a little bit, that's when you kind of see. What we saw is that there's improvements we needed to make in a lot of different areas, but we like some of the things we were doing. Luckily, it's 2 halves to a game, and could not be more proud of how the guys competed in the second half. And when you're down but 14 points and momentum is not with you, take some character guys to step up. I know at the halftime, as I said after the game, our guys wasn't really panicked. It was just some disappointment, but also excitement about that second half. Second half, we cleaned up some things, got momentum. Juan Mark, Jartavius Mark, interception, kind of gave us some spark to start, of course, scoring points. That led, now it's a 10-point game. 4th down stop. It's a tie game. So again, I like the way we competed. Offensively, A.J. Bush first game. He'll play better the second game, but he did a lot of good things. It gave us an opportunity early on to score more points. We had opportunities there, but running game, passing throughout. Each week we select 3 players of the game. Offensively with Reggie Corbin. Reggie was outstanding, running the ball. That run down the sideline, and gives you, goosebumps up your body. He's capable of that. But I thought he played an overall just good game with with opportunities that he had. Defensively, Jake Hansen. Jake's been waiting for Jake to come out for a long period of time. He's healthy now, a lot of tackles. I think he got 6 officially. We counted 7 tackle for losses for him. But played outstanding ball. Him finishing it with that interception would be one of those, really outstanding games for him. And special team, Blake Hayes. Blake Hayes has just done his job just about every time we ask him to. 2 punts inside of the 10, just 2 long ones. Just really put our defense in a position to play ball. And there were so many other players. I mentioned some of them. A lot more than, of course, just them. We had quite a few freshmen that played. They got better. You look at some of the defensively, some of the big plays that happened. Some of our younger players were involved, and they won't make those same mistakes again. Disappointing things defensively also. 3rd and long. We had a lot of 3rd and longs, and they converted. 4th downs. We're supposed to get off the field on those, and we will in the future. But saying those things, we're 1-0, and looking forward to playing another, football game, of course, this week here in our stadium. I thought our students kept coming, and they stayed to the end. We will definitely be counting on them this week. And for our students, of course, all students, current students at the University of Illinois can come. Josh, with the free ticket also this week, right? So they can come and bring a guest for free. Can't beat that. We'll need as many of them in the stands this week as possible. But again, pumped up about the win. When you play, injuries are part of it also. And unfortunately, we had an injury that's, for me, it's just kind of hard to put it into words a little bit. Mike Dudick has worked so hard throughout his career here. Mike Dudick season will end. He had a knee injury that happened during the course of the game. That unfortunately will be season ending for him. And again, some things are hard to understand. That's definitely one of them. Mike's meant so much to our program. But again, Mike Dudick will not be playing any more football for us this year. You know, we'll be counting on some other players to step up in that role. Besides that, we have some other bumps and bruises from the game. We'll kind of let you know about the rest of the guys as as practices play out this week. Take your question.
This is a torn ACL.
You know, right now, it's knee injury, season-ending knee injury. It wasn't the same knee, we'll say that. One of those freak accidents that happen.
What does this mean? I mean, what do you tell him when this happens?
Sorry, wish I could do something. That's what we're all, hey, we're in mourning over that. Yeah, Mike's one of all-time favorites. When you fight through adversity the way he has, it's just tough. And but he's come back from tough situations before. He'll do that again.
What does this mean for the rest of your receiver group? Who needs to step up?
We have a couple of options. Dominic Stamper is one of the players that's gotten time. Carlos Sandy are two guys that could potentially move into a more prominent role in a slot position. Also has a return or two. Both of those guys, return also.
Any idea when it happened? Situation.
Exactly what happened. Play over the middle. Played in the game.
Well, you have 3 defensive backs out. How do you get true freshmen ready for that? How did you kind of handle that?
How do you get true freshmen ready? Seems like we're getting having a little bit of experience with it. You have to get them in there as much as anything. We like the talent of some of our freshmen coming in. Talked a lot about getting some of them early time. So we had a chance to see them and felt that a few of them were ready. Juan Martin played pretty good football. That was a little scare down in the end zone over here. But I thought he was physical, playing the run. There's a couple of tackles, of course. That's not, he'll play better football. But first time out, we had our corners in man-to-man situations quite a bit during the course of the game. Thought he held up fairly well. Our safeties, of course, it just wasn't those two guys. Delano Ware, also Kirby Joseph, guys that played quite a bit. Sidney Brown, but after you start, they forget that they are freshmen. And we just saw young players really playing hard throughout. It's going to be fun watching them grow.
Lovie, what did you see from Kendrick Green moving into the guard position?
Kendrick, our offensive line, we've talked a lot about them staying together, which means a lot. Whenever you can have type of success, especially the second half that we're able to have, you have to pat the offensive line on the back. But Kendrick has made the transition well. He'll play better football also. He played well, but he'll play better football as we continue to go through. No reason not to. Again, everything we're looking for in a guard, he has. Strength, size, he can move, all of it.
Lovie, after watching the film, what was your impression of what Vidarian Lowe did on Saturday?
Vidarian Lowe played very good football. As good football on offensive line as any of our offensive line will play. Vidarian, of course, is a big body. He's athletic for a big man. It's all consistent play. You kind of look at what Vidarian has done. Vidarian, he had an injury last training camp. It's his first training camp he's gone through. So pleased with first time out for him. Alex Palczewski also played well. Our two tackles really played well.
Coach, how was the tackling overall, and did it get better as the game went on?
Bobby got better as the game went along. Our tackling, and we don't do a lot of full speed tackling in training camp. You're gonna, it's gonna be an adjustment phase you go through, and I think that was the case. But some angles and things like that. I don't think a whole lot of things that would have helped us at more finishing tackles. Just some of our angles and some of the things that happened on your first game, especially on the perimeter a little bit, wasn't as good as it will be going forward.
Was that more of a young guy thing or an older guy? Or was their ball across? All of that.
Yeah. We got to do a better job getting in position. You have to do a better job of finish. Old and young.
Coach, what's the reaction of this team and like when they heard about Mike being out
be truthful, since we like to share information so much, I'm talking about me and you, see, most of our guys don't really know about it. We just found out earlier, so I know how they will feel. And when you there's a reason why Mike is popular, does everything right. Can't always no better team player, so you can understand how the team will feel.
Aside from him rehabbing and getting back, what do you want to see from Mikey on the sideline?
We'll go through that. Right now, just want Mike to take a little time, to really kind of just analyze what's happened to him as much as anything. We'll make all those decisions a little bit later on.
Your entire staff spoke so highly of Jake Hansen throughout the offseason, and then basically a historic game for this program. Is that the kind of performance you expect him to have against Big Ten competition as well?
Well, yes, we do. Jake's a good football player. We expect him to play well each week. We talked about, he fits the profile of what we would like to see in our linebackers. Student of the game, worked hard, all of that, and he can make plays. So, yes, it's not, I know he had a lot of statistics that kind of stand out, but we expected him to play well.
With a lot of the secondary out, what do you see out of Cameron Watkins, one of the guys that is staple in that secondary?
You're right, Cameron, we have talked about the amount of young players we have, but Cameron has been around. Cam Watkins has been around. He's been around quite a long period of time. He's a tough football player. Tough, and you saw that. He's had a little hand injury, which hasn't allowed him to catch the ball as well, but didn't have an opportunity to make a lot of interceptions in the passing game that way, but I thought his tackling was outstanding. But that's what we expect from him. He's a tough guy, one of the leaders, as you mentioned.
Lovie, what did you think of your defensive end play?
Some guys play well. Bobby Roundtree played well. Owen Carney played well. Isaiah Gay will play better football in the future. I wouldn't say that was his best game that he's had. But again, the tempo of the game a little bit, when you get there, it can affect guys a little bit differently. But we had others. We played by 5 defensive linemen, defensive end in that game, and we'll need all of them to step their game up a little bit. We didn't get as much pressure as we would like at times throughout the game.
The young players having to figure things out in maybe their first start, especially. Maybe AJ Bush had a little bit of the same. He's a veteran guy, but making his first start is really.
I think absolutely. Guys that haven't played a lot of football lately, there's an adjustment period you go through. AJ, Jake, and all the guys that haven't played an awful lot, this last season or whatever. But good football players make that adjustment, and that's what AJ did. AJ made adjustments in the second half. He played, better football, which are just like our football team. But that's what you get first game. That second half, you should see improved play, and that's what we got from our football team.
Chris, the guys that weren't with you on Saturday, are they able to practice and work
Yes.
out? Okay, so they're doing everything. How about the guys that are academically out there?
Everybody that we have on our team right now can practice.
Okay.
We have the full group out there practice.
Give me an update on the 5 that were suspended.
I can't let you know when there's an update, but I don't know a date right now.
What kind of team is this Western Illinois team?
Different than what we've seen. Of course, this past week, was talking, I'd say probably similar offensively, defensively, with their front. But offensively, this is a traditional offense. It's been a long period of time since we've seen a team that huddles in between plays, and more of a traditional 2-back, regular personnel type. So it's more traditional football than what we'll see on the offensive side. And we haven't, of course, gone against an offense like this for a long period of time. Our guys are going against the offense. Of course, that's not what we do. So there are some challenges. These practices this week will be pretty critical.
The more traditional offense like that, or the outlier almost at this point, does that just make the prep a little different, just because I only see that in Wisconsin.
Yes, it does. There's a time when, our offense was, most people were traditional, and when you got ready for a spread team, of course, it was different that week. A lot of things you had to cover, and that's where we are this week. And that's the reason why a lot of teams, of course, have gone back that way. I just know that, Western Illinois is a good football team. Played well this past week, lost a tough one, against Montana State this past week. Just traditionally, the last couple of years really have put out a good football team. And for us, it's a state school playing, and we're the flagship university of the state. So we understand how big this game is, for just people in Illinois as much as anything. So this is one we have to be ready for, and we will be ready for.
And I bet you've got future games with ISU or Eastern Illinois. Is that something you like? Maybe we see some of those.
Yes, I do. I like, local teams playing, and whenever you get a chance to play, not much travel involved, and it's a good thing for everybody involved. And as we see it here, it's a good thing for Illinois fans, state of Illinois, as much as any. So absolutely.
Coach, what did Delano Ware do that encouraged you moving forward? Because you had a couple plays, obviously gave up one of those touchdowns on that, but you had a couple times where he showed a little bit of what he can do with whether that was that big hit early in the game, and some others.
Well, he had a couple big hits. What we like about him, he's a physical safety, speed. He can guard. He can cover. Along with that, he's a freshman, 17-year-old freshman, I might add. That's figuring out some things. And when you have young players, they're going to make some mistakes. He made some mistakes in the game. It's just about cleaning those up, not making the same mistakes over and over again. And I know he's a football junkie, so I just feel like we can clean some of those things up, and he, along with some others, are going to play better ball as we go forward. Thank you.